There we go. We are live. All right, today is Friday, April 18th, 2025. And you can see from the title, where has the time gone? As what's that song? Dr. Dog asked, where did the time go? Where did this week go? Holy smokes. We blinked in the blink of an eye. We had spring break, and that actually lasted quite a long time. Somewhat of a good break. But holy cow, this week, Monday through Friday, I blinked, and then suddenly this week is gone. So we're gonna have some fun. Let's see, what's some fun things that are happening. I'm finishing up some projects and finally finishing that video. You guys have been asking, when is the dryer video going to be done? I am going to finish it probably tonight. So anticipate uploading probably tomorrow morning. So it's coming. It's really coming. Let's see. What else? For my daughter, prom is tomorrow. That's kind of fun. It's also a state, what is it? It's state monologue championships. Her monologue in drama made it to the finalist round. And she is going to perform amongst many, many other finalists within like region categories within the entire district, or not just the district, just the entire state. And they're all meeting up tomorrow at actually a school that's not very far away. And she got special permission. It's supposed to go through like the late afternoon, but tomorrow's prom, right? And they've got like a day date and, dinner and photos and stuff. And somebody else is planning the whole thing. But I ended up, I talked to the kid that's in charge of her group too. That's a funny story. I'll get to that one in a little bit. But yeah, she's got a busy day, and I'm there to just kind of be a proud papa. How fun is that? To just, sort of soak in the beauty of a really, really fun day like that. It's super good. So, let me get my monitor out. So, whoops. Here, I just want to make sure that I am doing this correct. There we go. Okay, we are set. We're solid. I just like having that open just to make sure that like it looks good. I've looked over sometimes and like, it looks all goofy like this. And I'm like, oh, I gotta fix that. Sorry. So it's a good, I guess, reminder. Well, hey, YouTuber, generic name YouTuber, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, so it's prom for my daughter and her date. She, had somebody ask her out and everything. Hey, let's see. Masik and Philip. Nice. Oh, good. And Michael's here. Well, thank goodness Michael's here. I love it. Well, it's going to be a good day if we got a big crowd like this. How fun. All right. Well, let's just dive in. Let's do it. Let's play. And maybe between puzzles, I'll share with you the funny interaction that I had with the kid. He's a friend. He's a family friend of ours. But it was a funny kind of run-in, not a run-in, but just a conversation that I had with this kid. All right, so connections. We're trying to create 4 groups of 4. They're connected somehow. Good, boy, banjo, birds, nose, man, possession, goodness, belonging, haunting, apple, card, shining, effect, wow, and exorcist. Oh my gosh, these are all over the place. I think maybe The Shining, The Exorcist, The Birds, or was it just called Birds? Is it The Birds? And then probably The Haunting. These are horror movies with the at the beginning. Yeah, oh my gosh. I could write these puzzles. That's so funny. This is so related to, what was it? The Strands yesterday, right? The word search looking one. And sure enough, that was the words you were searching for. It was movie titles with the at the beginning, and actually The Shining was in there. That's so interesting that these two puzzles overlapped like that. All right. So I haven't gotten the yellow, and yellow is supposedly the easiest to find. And so let's see if we can find how these are related. Maybe there's an easy one out there that I'm just not seeing. Wow. Possession. I guess possession and exorcist could have gone together too, huh? Goodness. Like, oh goodness, oh wow, oh man, oh good, oh boy, maybe oh boy. Those go together? Interjections. Boy, goodness, man, wow. All right, so good, that went together, I'm glad. Hello, my best YouTuber. Oh, I'm so proud, thank you. YouTuber subscribed, and Masik, is that how you pronounce it? Masik is just happy to see me, and I'm happy to see you guys. Honestly, it's just real fun to just be together and do puzzles. Let's see, belonging, nose. What do these have to do with each other? Card. Good card. Effect. So belonging, possession, and your personal effects, and your goods. Yeah. Personal property. Yep. Possessions, goods, effects, right? Your personal effects and your belongings. That's funny. That's the purple category. I should have seen that. To my second favorite YouTuber. And as you can see in the chat, here's your first favorite YouTuber in the chat. What do these have to do with each other? Nose, apple, card, and banjo. Things you can pick? Gross. Pick your nose? What? Oh gosh, that took me by surprise. Horror movies with The Birds, The Exorcist, The Haunting, and The Shining. We actually saw just a brief moment of The Exorcist today. So I am in the classes that I teach. I teach photography, video, and TV broadcast. And specifically this week, and maybe that's why the week went so fast, we have been preparing for the career and technical education final test. It's this huge test that every kid in every CTE test class has to take. And there's a certain cutoff score, and if they get that score, they get a printed certificate. Looks awesome on a resume. It's something to really fight for, not just because it's on their grade, but it's something that you really have to power through and fight for. And it's something to really be proud of. And so I spend 2 days in each class talking about all sorts of different things, preparing them for the test, right? And specifically in my video production class, we talk about like shots, camera shots, right? Camera motions, angles, how to run the camera and stuff. And there is this very famous shot in The Exorcist it's called a vertigo shot. And you dolly in, you roll the camera forward while zooming out. Or you can do it the other way, you dolly out while zooming in. Either way, you get this effect where the person stays the same, the subject stays the same, but the background changes, either goes in or out. And it's very disorienting. And there is this one specific one in The Exorcist where the mom, she's in like her pajamas or like jersey, and she races down the hall and she stops at the end of the hall, and we get this vertigo shot where it like pans out. It does this dolly zoom out. And it's very disorienting because it looks like she's just at the end of this endless hallway trying to get to her daughter. It's very disorienting. And so it's used in a practical sense. There's another famous one in Jaws, right, where they first see there's a shark attack, and he's just kind of relaxing there in his sun chair, and it's this realization moment, and we dolly in while zooming out, and it's this super super famous moment. You see the dolly zoom everywhere, absolutely everywhere lately. If you have seen the Minecraft movie, I quizzed the kids. I said, I bet you've seen a recent movie with that in it. What do you think? Was it in the Minecraft movie? And I'm just throwing it out there. And the kids thought for a second. They're like, wait, it is. In the, like, I think in the Ender portal, the Nether portal scene, there's this dolly zoom where, you know, the camera, it's, you know, a lot animated, but it dollies in while zooming out, and it's this disorienting look. But the kids were so proud to think, hey, I found one. So sometimes when I point these things out, the kids are like, Miller, you have ruined movies for me. They just can't enjoy movies anymore because all they see is like, oh, that's a dolly zoom. Oh, that's a pan. Oh, that's a medium shot. That's a close-up. And they like pick apart movies now, you know. But all that from The Exorcist, right? There's a dolly zoom, very famous dolly zoom in The Exorcist. There is also a very famous... actually, you know what? That's the other thing I was going to say about the Vertigo shot. It was a question as Final Jeopardy. You know, if you watch Jeopardy, there's a huge question at the end, and you can wager however much you want. And the question was, what is the camera motion that is named for the very first movie it was used in? And the answer was Vertigo, because in Hitchcock's Vertigo, it was the very first time the dolly zoom was used to show like this endless expanse. You fall down into the clock tower, and it's like, whoa, look how long that is. That's funny. So The Birds, The Exorcist, The Haunting, and The Shining. The Shining, oh my gosh, that's another famous movie. Stanley Kubrick, that one. Yeah, crazy good. So we watched a couple of examples from that too. What were the examples from The Shining? Oh, like an extreme close-up. You see, here's Johnny, right? I guess that's just a close-up, but you get this like face shot of just of Jack Nicholson. He goes, here's Johnny. It's freaky. I think there was a remake. Yeah, you're right. There was a remake. Yeah, pick your nose. Oh, yeah, you had to think for a while to get it. Yeah, movie shots for 200. I think, honestly, the two game shows I think I would do really well in is maybe Jeopardy. I don't know how long I would last, but I think I would get it. And I think I would do really well at The Floor. I haven't watched a full episode of The Floor, but I have watched just like bits and pieces of things, you know, highlights that people have showed me. And I'm like, man, if I like picked a category, a really niche category that I know a ton about, I think I would really do well at The Floor. I would probably pick some category that everyone would be scared to go up against, like, I don't know, Brazilian samba bossa nova. I know a weird amount of facts about samba and bossa nova. And I would say the usual American probably knows very little about samba and bossa nova. So like Brazilian groove music kind of stuff. I think that would be my what do you call it? My floor specialty, right? Nobody would go against me for it. Here's some interjections. Oh boy, goodness, man, wow, some interjections for sure. How is the personal property of the purple category? I know these should be switched. Personal property minus S. Your belongings, your personal effects, and your goods. I don't know about goods. That's a stretch. That one's a stretch. Your goods. Goods are like something you buy at a store, I imagine. And then your possessions. Things you can pick. Oh my gosh. Pick an apple off a tree. Finger pick a banjo. Pick a card, any card. And then pick your nose. Gross. Oh boy. That's too funny. That's so great. All right, the mini crossword puzzle. We are looking at a classic 5x5 with a couple cutouts. We've got 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Lack of practice, metaphorically. If you are lacking practice, you are like rusty. So like rust is a metaphorical lack of practice. Maybe. We might change it. I don't know. The width of your thumb if you need a rough approximation. Oh, I know. Okay, actually, I use this in my review too. So in my photography class, we talk about resolution. Size, like, you know, an 8x10 photo. But then how many pixels are in each of those inches, you measure pixels per inch. That's how it is. Typical web resolution, if you're looking at a digital screen, is 72 pixels per inch. And if you're going to make something that's meant to be printed, it's 300 pixels per inch. And I say, imagine just an inch, right? Bend your thumb, and that bend right there is about an inch. And that's so funny. It's right there. It says, and then imagine, 72 little dots. You could probably see each of those 72 little dots. But imagine if you had a pen and you drew across your bent thumb there 300 pixels, right? 300 little dots. That'd be a lot more dots, right? And so there's a better amount of pixels, so it's highly resolved, it's high resolution, and it looks really good. Well, that kind of thing. So that's so funny. We're talking about like me reviewing things from like my video production class. We saw the birds and the shining and all that, and then here we are in talking about my photography class with the width of your thumb, more or less, and how many pixels would fit onto the bend of your thumb. That's how I have them measure it. I have them actually physically look at an inch by bending their thumb. Oh, that's too funny. It has many private entries. Private entries is maybe a diary. Disc golfer's obstacle. Like a tree. Maybe a tree. Emoji that can mean I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. Maybe we come back to it. Let's go on the down puzzle here. We skipped one. Rid of. Yeah, dispose. Rid. Bring together. Unite. Maybe we will finish this pretty quick here. Like graveyards at night. Scary. Shortest allowable number of letters for a New York Times crossword answer. 3. This is meta. This is very meta. Totally with you. Yes. Nice. Cool. All right. Hey, we did it in a pretty short amount of time, too, didn't we? I'm seeing, like, bees behind me. Do you see the bees? Why are there bees behind me? Is that my green screen acting a fool? Does that make it worse or make it better? Makes it worse. Do you see, like, behind my shoulder? That's not usually there. Why is that there today? Maybe it just needs to be brighter. Or is it too bright? Righty tighty, lefty loosey. I'm looking at the wrong one. Goodness. Oh, that makes it worse. Oh. Do you see the little... Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the weird, like, piece behind me. What is the deal with that? Okay, if I do that, that's too much. I'm trying to get the like alien bees behind me. Yeah, green stuff. Pixels per inch. Y'all need to get into the metric system. Okay, so here's the I 100% agree. This is not my thing. If you work in Photoshop anywhere else in the world, you're going to see pixels per centimeter, right? But here in America, right, we're going to use our inches. That's how I say it, right? So the kids remember that it's pixels per inch. I say pixels per inch. Why do we use inches? Because America. That's funny. All right, I may be giving up on the alien bees. Trying to figure out how to get rid of that, and it's just... Is it because of my shirt? Maybe it's because of my shirt color. It's freaking me out. Why is there bees? Okay, what if it's not even... What if it's like way brighter? I don't know. I can't figure out this situation. Whatever. All right, we'll just deal with the fact that there's bees all over my back. Yeah, personally thought blue was the hardest one today. Pixels per inch. Y'all need to get into the metric system. Yeah, I know. It's an industry standard. It's not my doing. I would choose otherwise. I think the switch to metric would not be as painful as people are making it out to be. But there are so many things in the U.S. that are... I mean, there are some things that are metric already, right? A liter of something, but you know, how many gallons in a liter, how many liters in a gallon? I think that would take a lot of like crossover. You know, it'll take some getting used to. But officially making the switch to metric, not just in like sciencey stuff and all that, I think it would be actually really helpful. All right. We haven't gone over it yet. We should, because I think there are some of these we didn't even get to. A lack of practice, you might be rusty. So metaphorically, that is rust. The width of your thumb, if you need a rough approximation, an inch, you bend your thumb. It has many private entries, a diary. Disc golfer's obstacle, a tree. Emoji that can mean I'm intrigued. Eyes, yes. Callie, thank you for the eyes. Callie is intrigued. Dispose of, to rid. Bring together, to unite. Let's see, like graveyards at night, scary. Shortest allowable number of letters for a New York Times crossword answer, very meta. This is 3. And then totally with you, yes. Okay, so Callie, you're talking about the metric system. Sorry to get so personal, but I noticed that your channel icon is like the St. Louis Arch, or like the view from the St. Louis Arch of you know, what is that? The old Capitol building? The old, what do they call that? Are you from that area, or are you talking about somewhere that really cares about the metric system? Because those are, either you live near the St. Louis Arch or you're in a place that loves the metric system. Those are two opposite places. Let's see here. Let's go to the Wordle. Yeah, I think the alien bees behind me are just they're just gonna stay an eyesore. Who knows? Yeah, I'm looking. Maybe it needs to go higher. Maybe I'll do my light higher. I can't do it right now because I'm in the middle of it. But okay, so let's dive in to our Wordle today. What if we tried? Let's see. Tower. Okay, a little bit of help. We got an E. We got an R. How about chips? I'm thinking of non-intersecting words that don't use any of those letters. Okay, there's an I somewhere. Can I do another? Gland. Oh, that's a word. Gland. Okay, look at that. With these five each, right? Three words. We've got all 5 letters. So and they're all yellow, sadly. I was thinking maybe like an ED word, but of course neither of those work. So what if it was... Oh my gosh, can't even spell. Oh, here's one. Ridge. That's a word. R can go there. I-D-G-E. Yeah, let's try it. Okay. Opposite what we're thinking. So it looks like these two need to go backwards. A dirge. Dirge, like a funeral dirge. Oh my gosh, who's going to get that? A dirge. A dirge is a piece of music, typically a sad, funeral dirge, a sad droning. Oh my gosh! I thought I had it. I thought I nailed it. You know how I get it on the 4th, and I'm like, oh heck yeah, that's the one. Go me. Nope, those two are backwards. A dirge. Play a dirge on the ridge. Golly. All right. Well, here, I guess we got to walk through it, right? I started with tower, ER, and then I tried a non-intersecting word, which was ridge. No, excuse me, chips. That was my second guess, and that gave us the I. And then I tried another non-intersecting word, a word that doesn't use any of those. And it was gland. Look at that. It gave me the G and the D. So I've got all 5 letters. Mixing it around, I tried ridge. That's a good one. But the D and the R were reversed. So dirge. So dirge, I don't know, for copyright reasons, I can't play a dirge. But look up a funeral dirge on YouTube, and it will be the saddest music you've ever heard. It's like a weeping and wailing kind of song that's like really sad. Memorial at a funeral kind of thing. It's yeah, it's music. It's a type of music. Okay, and then we play Strands. All right, Strands today. It's like a word search. If you've never played before, we're playing a word search essentially, but you don't know what the words are, and you don't know the order of the letters. They could go kind of snaking around, like T-I. I can't do T-I. I was going to say L-I-S-T-E-N. I don't know. So snaking around like that. All right, today's theme is on the board. On the board. Like if you get points, you're on the board. Or if you're surfing, you're on a board. Right? The theme is sometimes a little more nuanced. You know, what does it actually mean? So on the board. Let's see what we mean by that. I like looking in corners at first, you know, like an ER might come to hand, or a CK. Wait a minute. C-H-E-E-C-K-E-R. Checker. Okay, on the board. So maybe this is about like playing pieces in games, right? Like a chess knight or a bishop or a marble. I wonder if game right here is part of the spangram. I see another CK. I see an ING. I see a TH, but I don't know if it goes together because the THI, then that leaves the G by itself. Thing. Checker. What are other like board game pieces? Like a pawn? Is pawn on there? I don't even see a W. Dino. Oh, domino. Yeah, that's another one. Domino. Do you see any? Knight. Oh, yeah, I was staring at that one. K-N-I-G-H-T. Perfect. A knight. I thought maybe bishop would be in there, but I don't see B-I-S anywhere. B-I. I see B-I. Yeah, great find. Knight. Maybe token. Token. That's another one. Token, yeah. Just pieces. Oh, that is the spangram. Look at this. Game pieces. Game pieces. Nice. Oh, of course, a battleship. Oh, and a tile. tile. What are some tile games? Like Rummy Cube. Yeah, there's a lot of good tile games. Mahjong. Yeah, my kids actually love Rummy Cube. We play Rummy Cube at least once a week. That is a really, really fun one. Okay, today's theme was on the board. On the board, a clever way to say that there is a variety of game pieces. Game pieces. So you might have dominoes, battleships in the game Battleship, tiles, like many, many games that have tiles. A knight. Great find. Who said knight? Yeah, Michael said knight. Yeah, good find. Great find. Calvin says Fomino. Maybe Fomino. Calvin, good to see you, dude. Great to see you. Yeah, on the board. Knight, token, checker. There are a couple of games that are very hotly contested at my house. You know, people love playing, you know, Monopoly and, you know, silly things like that. But one game in particular, which actually two games that are both based on Parcheesi. If you ever played that one, there is Trouble, right? Pop-O-Matic Trouble, and Sorry. Sorry is played with either cards or dice, and then Trouble has like a popper in the middle. Either way, when you roll and you land on somebody else's piece, their piece has to go all the way back to the beginning. And it has caused more than one serious fight in my house. Like two kids, we had to like break up. They're like, "Why'd you do that?" Right? They're screaming at each other. So yeah, you have to be a little gingerly around certain games. I almost have to kind of referee some games. My kids are very amicable with each other. They're very sweet. They're very nice to each other. People will comment to me. I'll see people and they're like, "Oh, how do you do it? You know, how do I do it?" I'm lucky. That's how. I have really good kids. I have super good kids. But sometimes, you know, depending on the game, they get very competitive with each other. Token, yeah, in Monopoly, you get those little, you know, there's the ship or the iron, or I guess they retired the iron, or the shoe, or the dog, or what was the others? Like a money bag? No, I don't think there was a money bag. Or that classic like teardrop shaped one with like a ball on the top, you know, that's for like Sorry or other games. Here's a game, okay? If you're into games, here's a game that you need to have in your home. My grandpa taught me how to play it. My grandpa bought it for me, and it is called Quarto. I don't know if you play this one, but if you love mind-bending games, here, let's go full screen images. Okay, so Quarto is a game that bends your mind, all right? If you've ever played tic-tac-toe, right? Just a simple game of tic-tac-toe. It's a 4x4. Okay, here, I'll scroll through these so you can see. Quarto is a 4x4 grid, and you can win by going 4 across, either because the 4 that you place down are either tall or short, light or dark, round or square, solid or holes. Okay, you can win any of those ways. And here's the catch. Here's the catch. This is the best part of the whole game. You don't pick your pieces. You give your opponent a piece to play. And so basically you're hoping that your opponent is not paying attention enough, and when you lay, they lay, and then you give them another one, right? And they lay it in just the wrong spot, and then they give you a piece, and then you end up placing a piece that perfectly makes you win, either by like, you know, it's all 4 across that are all talls, or all 4 across that are here. There we go. Now you can actually see it. This is why I pull up my thing so I can see what you guys are seeing at home. Yeah, so you can win by having like 4 across that are all holes, or 4 across that are all, you know, solids, or 4 across that are all light colors, or dark ones, or short ones, or square ones. There was a top hat. You are absolutely right, Michael. There was a top hat. Hashtag bring back the iron. Yep. Oh, I think they did that for like equality's sake or something. I have no idea. Quarto is a fantastic game. It's such a good game. It's a mind bender. And they're really short rounds too, right? Depending on, the pieces you play, and then they play, and they give to you, and you give to them, and back and forth. And then suddenly they're not paying attention, and he hands me, my son plays, he loves it. He'll hand me a circle and think, oh, it's fine because it's a short one, and I can't lose here because I'm not giving him a tall, but he gives me a short. Well, guess what? The short was round, and it works over here, so I get 4 in a row because they're round. Oh my gosh, it's an absolute mind bender. They are so fun. So fun. If you're looking for a game, here we're talking about on the board, right? Different board games. It's easy to learn. It's very hard to master. I remember for hours and hours and hours playing with my grandpa, and he would hand me a piece. I'd play it. I'd hand him a piece thinking I know exactly what I'm doing. Boom. He slaps it down. Shorts, right? Or darks. Or solids, or whatever it is, and then I thought I had it, and he had been cornering me the entire time. And now here as an adult, I play with my kids, and I'm sort of the one that knows better. Oh my gosh, play that one sometime. I'm not making that up. You guys will have a blast, right? It's 2 players. Occasionally, if another kid wants to play, we'll sometimes play 3 players, which is just absurd. You pass to the person clockwise, and then they play, and then they pass clockwise, and you play, and then they play, and blah blah blah. You go in a circle. It's a little more chaotic to do it that way, but oh my gosh, it's so fun, so fun. Quarto. I suppose you could make Quarto like just with a router or lathe. But I have mine. It's beautiful lacquered board, all wood, really cool. Yeah, that's a great game. If I could recommend a game to you guys, go play Quarto. That's a fun one. All right, let's play Letterbox. So if you've never played Letterbox, I see some new faces today. Yeah, we are. I know. Michael's like, come on, quit yapping. Let's play the games. Let's play the puzzles. We will. I promise, Michael. We will. So Letterboxed, I even have the thing, right, when it says, oh, we're playing Strands, now we're playing Letterboxed, we're playing this, it's written out on my little cheat sheet down below, so you can see it. I do yap a lot though, don't I? I know I'm gonna keep talking about Quarto for 30 minutes. Yeah, thanks, Callie. Oh, yeah, okay, fine, that's fair. I respect that. All right. He's saying on with it. Okay. So Letterboxed, if you've never played before, we're trying to use up all 12 letters. And right now, it seems like there are going to be some tricky letters like Z and a Y. At least there's an E, and it's across from an R. It's also across from the S, so we could do ES words. So that's nice. We have to do this one in 5 words. If you've played already, I'd love... instead of like spoon feeding me answers, right? I'd love for people that have not played to just kind of shout out some answers to where you might play. For example, F-R-A-I-L. Oh, I can play frail. That's a good word. You can't do 2 on the same side, one after the other. We can double letters, but not double the same letter, because that would be on the same side, right? And we connect the words one to the other from letter to letter. Oh, you haven't played Letterbox yet? Okay. Well, then I will accept your guesses. Callie, I know for a fact you've already played this, haven't you? And so I will I will ignore Callie right now. No, I'm just kidding. Let's play. So we've got an A, an F, and an L. An A, an F, and an N. I saw the L in the corner, so I said L. An L, a B, and an S. E, Z, O, I, R, and Y. Okay, let's see what we can come up with. F, I can't do F-A, so I'm already thinking of things that can't work. Frail. If there was a T, I could see frailty. We start with frail. And then that leaves us on an L, so we could do... Oh, I can't do L-O-Z. I was going to say lozenge. I'll write down frail. Where did my pen go? Here it is. Frail. Nobler, not a word. Noble. Yeah, like a Nobel. Oh, I guess Nobel Prize would be. Oh. You have played. Best record was 5. So let's see if we can do it in under 5, right? Noble. D. Let's see. I would love to get rid of the Z somehow. Like if I could do that first thing. Lazier. Or I could do lazily. And then from the Y, we could do like Y-E-A-R. Year. Well, we could do year. Lazily, year. Rosin. Isn't that how you spell rosin? Maybe it's I-N. It's I-N. Rosin. Nebra? That's not a word. I mean, I could do nib. Sure. We did. Actually, we played nib yesterday, didn't we? Is biff a word? Probably 2 E's, huh? Biffs. I just need to get rid of the F. F L A B Yeah, laser. That's a good word. Laser. N-E-R-F. I wonder if that's a proper name. Oh. Because to nerf, like if there's a character that's like overpowered, they might nerf that character. And fob, like a key fob. Hey, you know what? Is it the best way to do it? No, but it's the way we did it. It's the best way because we did it. Yeah, nerf. So I know the word nerf, like to nerf, like to turn a stronger thing into a weaker thing. But that comes from the word, like the proper name nerf. Like something it worked well like a gun, but then they had to turn down the power of it, and now it's like a foam Nerf gun. Let me look that one up. Let's see if there is like a professional dictionary definition of this one. Okay, Nerf, a type of foam rubber used to make toys and sports equipment. Would nothing be dangerous if everything was made out of Nerf? caused to be weak or ineffective. The constant zone running nerfed Michigan's rush past. Okay, NERF, which stands for non-expanding recreational foam. Okay, so technically it is a name, right? It's a proper name, but it also refers to that expanding foam or non-expanding recreational foam. How interesting. Huh. Well, I learned something new today. I didn't realize that NERF actually is not a proper, well, it is a proper name, but it comes from, what was it, non-expanding recreational foam. Huh. Interesting. Okay, do I have last puzzle? Yes, I do. Here's yesterday's puzzle. Remember, we were laughing because Callie ended with the word prevailing, and I just so happened to begin mine with the word prevailing. We did not share notes, I promise. Prevailing, the G led to groan, and then nib, there's nib again, and then beacon to get rid of the C. And if I switch back over to today's puzzle, and I hit where's my mouse? Here, I hit the yesterday button. We could have said probe and then evangelical. Good heavens. Evangelical. Someone proclaiming the good news of the gospel is evangelical. Well, I don't think I would have gotten that. I actually don't mind bookmarking whatever yesterday's puzzle was, right? I end up, doing today's puzzle and then wanting to know what the answer was from yesterday's puzzle. That's interesting. Let's see. I hit the wrong button. Let's hit that button. There we go. I don't know if you know this, but there is a keyboard shortcut in Chrome. I'm using Chrome here. If you go on a Mac, you go Command tilde, or I bet you on a PC, if you go Control tilde and you have multiple windows, you can swap back and forth between windows, which is kind of convenient. Control tilde. Okay, so we did it. We did it. Connections puzzle. Horror movies with The Birds, The Exorcist, The Haunting, and The Shining. Two of which I watched just tiny little clips of today to explain camera motions, camera controls, for reviewing for this huge test that the kids have. The yellow category, interjections. Oh boy, oh goodness, oh man, oh wow. Personal property minus S, belongings, effects, goods, and possessions. The only one I disagree with is maybe good, like your goods. I don't know. I don't think of like, oh, I need my personal property. My goods. You got the goods. Things you can pick. Pick apples. Pick banjo, right? Finger picking banjo. Pick a card, any card, and pick your nose. That's just so weird. I'm having a reaction about that one. Pick your nose. Lack of practice, metaphorically, is rust. If you're rusty, you gather rust. The width of your thumb, if you need a rough approximation, an inch. Yeah, here in America, we love our inches, man. I don't know if we'll ever get rid of it. You go to Home Depot and everything is, measured in inches. You're hard pressed to find something in the metric system. Actually, I take that back. I actually needed some metric screws. What did I need metric screws for? Something I was building had metric screws and I was missing one of the screws. So I ended up going to their, and oh, by the way, it's not just everything. It was like a specialty category, right, that I had to pull out. And it had metric screws, but it was very specialty. It was very niche to have metric anything. So I guess, here in America, man, we love our imperial system, even though the metric system makes so much more sense. So much more. I lived for multiple years in a country that uses the metric system and uses it very well. And guess how long it took me to get used to the temperature and the measurements and stuff. It was about a month, right? I was like, oh man, that's going to be hot. It's going to be like a 38-degree day, right? And, here in America, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cold, 38 degrees. No, 38, 40 degrees, you're like scorching hot in the metric system. I just think it would take some getting used to. It would be uncomfortable for about 6 months, maybe a year, until everything was shifted over. And maybe it would take more than a few years to shift over, because cars, display miles per hour instead of kilometers per hour. Street signs, road signs, and you would still have to sell both too, right? If you sold, say, screws, they would begin to be shifted over to metric, but eventually, at Home Depot, there would be maybe the package of antique inch screws, and then you would also have to buy the 2.5 centimeters or something, like the 250 millimeter screws, and we just all have to get used to it. Right, we'd all just have to bite the bullet and get used to it. But I don't think it would be. I don't think it'd be too hard. I think we tried to, didn't they? Like in the late 70s, didn't we try to go to metric? And it was just like it for some things we kept it, for like 2-liter bottles, but then everything else we were like, nah, we're not doing this because I guess we're lazy. But that was decades ago. I bet we could handle a shift over to metric nowadays. Somebody needs to lead the charge. All right. It has many private entries. Diary. A disc golfer's obstacle. A tree. Emoji that can mean I'm intrigued. Eyes. Right? The look emoji. The dispose of. To rid. Bring together. Unite. Like graveyards at night. Scary. Scary. It's spooky to be in a graveyard at night. It's also trespassing. They have posted hours. You have to stay there during the daytime, not during the night. Shortest allowable number of letters for a New York Times crossword answer, 3. That's very meta of you to mention yourself in your own in your own crossword puzzle. Oh. And then totally with you. Yes. Totally with you. Yes, thank you for the look emoji eyes. I totally forgot. I was going to tell you the story of, prom is tomorrow, right? And my daughter, sweet girl, she's so sweet. And she got asked by a really gentlemanly kid, and he's friends with this other kid that has this huge group of guy friends, huge group of separately girlfriends, not girlfriends, but like friends that are girls. And anytime they go over to his house, it's so funny because it's like a sea of girls. There's like 20 girls and just one guy. And I'm like, man, this guy's got it all figured out, And so he's the one that kind of orchestrated the entire thing. It was really sweet, just really sweet the way he did it, because here are all these guys, here are all these girls, and they don't know each other. But he thought, you know what? It's so sad that like they don't commingle. I'm going to assign one of my guy friends to ask out my girl friends. And so each of he's playing matchmaker, right? He matched all these kids together, and my daughter was one of them. Just really sweet, right? And it helps them all kind of and a lot of them do know each other, but in a like a I don't even want to say romantic, but like in a like, oh, I'm interested in you kind of way. Nobody's ever really showed interest towards each other. But this was a chance for the two groups to kind of commingle, which is awesome. And so he's orchestrating the whole thing. He's also coming up with like the itinerary for tomorrow. Now, I told you before, my daughter has like a huge state drama competition. She has a monologue. It's really clever. I watched her perform it, and she won't be able to do like the day activity. They stretch it out. It's not just the dance. You go to the dance, but it's like all of these kind of day activities. Like going to lunch together, going to dinner together, and then photos, and you get ready for a long time, all these things. And usually there's a day activity. You go bowling together, you go to the fun center together. And because of this state drama competition, she can't do the day date thing. And she's kind of bummed about it. And she told her date, and he's bummed about it. But they said, oh, let's do something maybe, Friday night. And then it won't work out Friday night either. And it's this whole thing. So maybe they might get together like after prom, we'll see. But where was I going with that? Oh, so this kid, he's a sweet kid, really nice kid, but he came out with the itinerary for what they're going to do, And it turns out in this kind of preliminary, itinerary of the day, they do the date, and then they get ready, and then they do pictures, and they go to dinner at this fancy place, and then they go to the dance for all of, I think, 45 minutes. And over spring break, we went to like 6 different dress shops looking for the perfect prom dress. She finally found it. I'm the one that swiped my credit card, right? Pay for this beautiful but expensive dress. And I saw the kid in the hallway today, and I said, hey, I'll just walk. We're walking to his class. I said, I'll walk with you. Can I ask you? I spent a lot of money on this beautiful dress. How come you're only going to the dance for 45 minutes? And he went, Miller. I've had him in my class. I've had him in my house. Like, I know him really well. And he was like, Miller, you're not the only one. Did she tell you about all that? I said, yeah, it's fine. But I wonder why you're only going to the dance for such a short time. And he said, no, we're going to change the itinerary. Enough of the girls have said, why can't we go to the dance for very long? And so he changed the itinerary. I think he had it so that the girls were going to get ready for like 3 hours. You don't need 3 hours to get ready. You need a couple hours. You need to do your hair and your makeup and your dress and everything. But you don't need 3 hours to get ready. And so he's going to shorten that. They're going to do pictures earlier. They're going to do dinner earlier. And they're going to have a shorter dinner. And that will allow them like at least double the time at the event. It's going to be beautiful. The venue they're going to have prom at is absolutely gorgeous. But I've actually done weddings at that event at the center they're going to. I think it's funny. I kind of cornered the guy and I was like, hey, can we talk? Can we walk? I'm almost like, protecting my daughter. It was so funny. And he's like, why are you like pinning me down like this? And I said, hey, why are you only going to the dance for 45 minutes? I paid a lot of money for that dress. And he's like, don't worry. I'll take care of it. We're going to go for longer. So I'm like, cajole this kid. What I've found is I have a lot of power and influence at the school. Not just because of the teacherly things, but also just I have this funny dynamic where I also live really close by, and my kids go to the school, and there's a lot of overlapping layers to specifically my my benefit of being there. I know lots of people in the neighborhood and this and that. So it's kind of funny to have these kind of overlapping layers of my time there at the school. It's really funny. But I think they're going to spend longer at the dance, partially because of this chat that I had with this kid today. I was like, it must have been a guy that came up with this itinerary. They're like, well, dances are stupid. We're only going to spend 45 minutes there. I'm like, no, we should spend longer there. Make that happen. Really funny. Oh, all right. So today's Wordle, I'm still laughing about it. It's just funny. Today's Wordle, we started with the word tower, and that gave us the E and the R. And we went to chips, and that gave us the I. Why am I doing words that don't have an E and R? I like playing what I call non-intersecting words that don't use the same letters, right? So there's 10 different letters that haven't been used. And then I guess a third one, gland, which gave us the G and the D. How cool is that? This is kind of a strategy I came up with. It's not anything that I learned anywhere. I didn't read it somewhere. I don't have go-to words every single time. I just think of words and make sure that they use up all, most efficiently as I can, use up letters. So we said gland, and that gave us the G, the I, the E, R, and D. So mixing around letters, I thought, here's one, ridge. And it wasn't ridge. It was R and D were mixed, and I'm like, what is that going to make? Hold on, what is ridge? And then if I switch it, it's dirge. A dirge. Let me give you the exact definition of a dirge, because it's not a word you use all the time. A lament for the dead, especially one forming part of a funeral rite. A dirge is a song of mourning performed as a memorial to someone who's died. A requiem, right, if you will. Another similar meaning to requiem. What are examples of dirges? It was a funeral dirge over the whole of his party's philosophy and program. There is a dirge in my heart, in fact. All we heard was a dirge of despair and depression about the future. The song has ended, but the dirge lingers on. Interesting. What's a famous dirge? A dirge by Christina Rossetti. Yeah. I don't want to play a dirge just for like copyright, but look up a funeral dirge and you'll go, oh wow, this is the saddest music I've ever heard. Why do people write music like this? It's so sad. Okay. Then we played the Strands, and Strands was very fun. We ended up talking about, different games that we all love. I love to play. There's 2 games that are just like, oh my gosh, I love those games. Number 1 is, besides, the New York Times puzzles, right? These are games that I love. But I love playing, why can't I think of it? The tile game. I said it 20 minutes ago. Rummy Cube. Thank you, voice inside my head. Rummy Cube. That's a great one. My kids love playing Rummy Cube. You all start with 14 tiles, and you make runs of 3, and you make matches of 3 or more, and then you can switch tiles around and what place they relate to once they're on the board. So you can steal tiles from other things. It's very clever. It's very, very clever. Yeah. Okay. So domino, individual, as you can see, game pieces right there. Game pieces. Individual dominoes, battleship, tile, checker. It's funny to mention these in the singular when really they're plural, right? Checkers, tokens, and knights for chess. Great find. I think it was Michael that found knights. That's awesome. And then the other one that I mentioned, I said, oh my gosh, you have to try this, is this one right here, Quarto. I could play Quarto for hours. Oh, I absolutely love this game. You play with all sorts of different combinations. You could have, this one is all light pieces, so you'd win 4 in a row. This one's all circular. This one's all tall. This one's all short. This one all, the holes. This one's all solid, right? So you can win in a variety of different ways. And the trick is you don't play your own pieces. You hand pieces to your playmate, right? And they play. And so you're almost like trying to trick them into placing those pieces you gave them into the wrong place, and then they have no choice but to give you a winning move, right? So it's not your fault that you won. You like strategize so you set them up to make you win. It's so good. It's a mind bender. I love playing it. My grandpa, he and I just lived right down the street from him when I was a kid, and oh my gosh, I played with him all the time. Absolutely all the time. It was such a fun game. Quarto. All right. And then we finished off today with Letterboxed. Letterboxed today was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. We had to do it in 5, so we did it in 5. We started with lazily, and then the Y led us to year, and the R led us to rosin. Rosin up your bow. The N for nerf. And I thought nerf was a proper name, but actually it is a proper name. But it is also just a thing, right? Nerf stands for what does it stand for? Oh my gosh, I just had it in my head. Non-expanding recreational foam. That's what it stands for. Non-expanding recreational foam. I learned something new today. I didn't know that. Now I know that. And then I just needed the B. You'd think I'd use the B somewhere else, but I came up with fob, like a key fob. What does fob stand for? Hold on. I need to know this. I don't need sleep, I need answers. What does key fob? Key fob does not stand for anything. It's a word, not an acronym. Really? The key fob on your key ring doesn't stand for anything? The word fob, which originally meant a decorative ornament attached to a keychain, like a pocket watch fob. Over time, the term was used to describe small objects attached to keychains, and then later the electronic devices used for remote car locking and starting. But fob doesn't stand for anything. I'm baffled by that. Really? Fob doesn't stand for something? Fob just means like a dangly bit on a keychain. And then we used it to mean like the electronic part because it dangles from your keychain. Wow. That's wild. That's like a mind blow right there. That's a total mind blow moment. Wow. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Huh. I'm going to tell my kids. They're not going to care, but I'm going to tell them. Wow. Awesome. Well, there's the puzzles, right? Thanks for all your help today. I got a big, long chat with, let's see. Vanessa was in there, and Michael, Callie. Lots of people saying hi at the beginning. Thank you. And YouTuber. Appreciate you being here, YouTuber. Yeah, really cool. Let's see. Masik. Very cool. Awesome. Hey, well, you know what? Thank you. You guys are great. Thanks for an awesome stream. Thanks for your help on some of this stuff. And, enjoy your weekend. How are we at the weekend already? It's amazing. But I hope you have a good time, whatever you do. And enjoy time with friends. Enjoy anything you do today. So, appreciate it. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.